All right, so we are live, and welcome to everybody.
Don't forget to pause that.
Yes. Welcome everybody to the second Double Harvester Economy Show match. We are going to have Scarlett in here once again, and today she's going to be fighting against PiLiPiLi. So to start everything off, we're going to have a few quick interviews with them, see what they really think about the economy mods. I know Scarlett gave her opinion last time, but actually nobody could hear her because our production value was so bad.
Is that true?
Yeah, nobody heard anything. But they saw us put up the picture of your passion fruit smoothie.
Yeah.
It's not a smoothie, it's juice.
And I told everybody we were best friends. That's also not true. I say that about MC.
All right, well, who wants to go first? What do you guys think about the economy?
Well, I think it's good because the game sort of goes faster, and it encourages to expand more, so there's no turtling. But it's also, I think, going to be a little bit harder for the new players to split the workers efficiently. So it's maybe a little bit harder for new players to get in. But it definitely will be more exciting to watch for viewers because there's no turtling and there's more, I guess, aggressive play while expanding at the third and fourth. But I think it sort of benefits Zerg more because Zerg has the easiest time taking the fourth and fifth base because they can just easier time defending it, I guess, because the army is more mobile. So I think it's sort of benefits Zerg, but I don't know. I definitely could change it.
All right, and that point about the new players, it's a pretty good point because StarCraft is already a very difficult game for new people to get into. So may have to maybe get some better tutorials, sort of explaining things better.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We should totally make some tutorials.
Yeah, Jack Attack. That would have helped me out a lot last year.
To get on that for sure.
Or I was thinking even like Blizzard tutorials, because I showed a friend StarCraft last year, and she was like, "Hey, I played the tutorials, and I don't know anything that's going on here."
Yeah.
For sure. I'm really hoping for some more revamped tutorial system. I think Hearthstone does a really good job of that.
Yeah, they did have a pretty good tutorial.
It would be really nice for StarCraft.
All right, so Scarlett, what do you think about the economy?
So I talked about it a lot last time. I guess none of you heard me, but after playing a bunch of games, especially against Parting, I kind of changed my opinion a bit. It actually didn't feel like too big of a change. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger. It wasn't that big. What I like is it in situations where someone just does turtle really hard, like going mech or just turtling with Platos to hit a huge 3-base army, it will make that weaker, but other than that, it didn't make too big of a difference. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like, it would be nice to try something drastic, and while this did slightly encourage like transferring workers or doing an early aggressive build with less workers, it wasn't a big change.
All right, yeah.
How do you feel about the idea of, like, in addition to messing with worker AI like Double Harvester does, doing something like bringing the base minerals count down, but probably like more like across the board, like in a similar way that it is in Legacy of the Void right now?
Yeah, that too. And also, I thought that they were going to bounce a lot more, like in Brood War, but they do pair up exactly the same as normal Heart of the Swarm. So right now, if you just get 1 on each close patch and 2 on each far patch, you just have 12 per base, and it's pretty similar.
Yeah, so it's not quite all the way down to 8. Although the numbers, like from the statistics and the charts and stuff that I was checking out, the numbers look as though the efficiency starts dropping off at 8. Do you think that's because like they weren't intentionally pairing the far patches with 2?
Maybe, yes. And also, did they just calculate that, or did they actually watch games where they tried it and saw what happened?
Oh, it's game data. It's like it's all game data. All the stuff,
Okay.
all the charts and stuff. Yeah.
Because, yeah, if you pair them on far patches, you lose a little bit of efficiency, but it's really not that much.
Yeah.
But after 12, it gets a lot weaker. It drops off really fast because the close patches, they're a lot worse to pair those.
Yeah, it would be really nice to see something like actually being able to adjust the worker AI and have them just bounce like Brood War and make them just sort of like, okay, if they don't line up at the exact moment, they're going to bounce no matter what kind of a thing. But,
Yeah, I thought that was good. That's what it was going to be like, and it would be fun to test that out as well.
yeah, unfortunately, the map makers don't have access to that editing. You can't actually edit the AI of the worker. I guess maybe make like an entirely worker unit.
I'm sure there's a way they could do that. I'm sure there is.
I think they did bounce a little more when they were doing the double harvest 10. I think that slightly changed the amount of time that they spent at each patch, and it resulted in a bit more bouncing. I might be wrong about that.
Well,
but
it also changes a little bit in this way. What it does is it seems like a worker goes to a patch, mines it once, then mines it again. And if there's another worker sitting there, then halfway through the time it'll bounce. But it's not like it gets there and it bounces right away. It waits a few seconds and then it bounces, which is really, really strange.
Yeah, I don't think Blizzard's going to be down with the strangeness of the idea, especially with doing different things like 9. But I think that by proving the effect of being able to do something about turtle play, I think Blizzard will be able to, with their power and their ability to do things, be able to implement like a similar solution, but with a lot more, a lot more polish. They can make it look nice and smooth and have the same sort of effect.
Yeah, for sure.
all right, well, so if there are no more thoughts about or no more preliminary thoughts about the economy, why don't we just get into the games?
All right.
Yeah, we'll get into this. Scarlet versus PiLiPiLi, best of 7 on the current map pool.
All right.
So good luck. Have fun, everyone.
Guys.
We'll see you afterwards.
Yep.
Thanks.
Except for
See
you, Jack.
later.
We're gonna see you the whole time.
I'm like in the middle. I'm like in the.
I know.
Very, like
We
an
did that on
honored-
purpose.
Yes, I'm joining the show.
We
What did you do?
we somehow lost your video for a second. Let's
It's totally gonna be,
actually, it doesn't really matter because we're going into the games, right?
Yep.
All right, there we go. Oh yeah, we were going to
do
download a virtual coin flip to
Okay.
decide who goes first.
Yeah, loser picks last, but we need a first pick.
What's the most neutral map in the game?
My God, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know about that. How about you just let Jack
Just
tackle?
pick a map. Just pick any map.
Um,
Scarlett's gonna hate me. I'm gonna like pick something awful. He's gonna be like really upset. But yeah, just pick a map.
let's go Vanny.
Yeah,
Vanny.
that's an okay map.
Sick. Now the last, I actually didn't. I feel sort of like a bad community member not tuning into the last stream.
No, that's actually a good community member.
Good community member, whichever it is. Was it a ZVT?
It was ZVP.
Yes, ZVP.
Yeah,
Scarlet
I'd
versus
really
Party.
like to see a ZVT sometime, for sure. Especially with all this like mech nonsense going on right now. I feel like this kind of economy is like one of the bigger. Also, could I have invite to the game?
Yes.
One of the
Of
bigger
course.
effects in that matchup right now. One of the big reasons why Zerg are hurting so hard once they don't have the swarm host is that the economy doesn't allow them to trade cost inefficiently. At least that's what I've come to believe.
I'm inviting myself.
I
So
did
nice
invite
of
you.
I didn't get one,
Oh, weird.
so
Anyway.
I'm just gonna go ahead and invite myself.
Okay. And did you get your invite, Jack?
I did. I'm currently entering the lobby.
Okay, perfect. As long as I didn't screw anything up.
Not yet.
No. Just gonna hang out. I'm gonna pend for a bit. I feel like pending, really. Just kind of
It
It says you-
declined.
Yeah, it's because it's probably loading the mod. Should have preloaded the mod, but I didn't do that. Apologize.
Can we host a little faster? Request from Scarlett. Yes. Yes, we can.
Why isn't...
As soon as...
1 second. Sorry. That's my fault.
Let's see.
Reinvite.
Oh, yep. Apparently the stream's not on the Liquid calendar.
Really? Isn't it right there under on air?
Yeah, but it's not linking our channel.
Oh.
It is moderately unfortunate.
Of course not.
Oh, God. Okay, wait, I got it.
There we go.
Okay, yep, we're all set now. So-
Okay, ready, start. Start.
Is Scarlett ready? We
Of
gotta
course
make
she's
sure
ready.
everyone's ready. Yeah, she was born ready. Let's just go for it.
Okay.
Oh, good. We got some comments from the chat saying that I fixed the sound issues by jiggling with the cord. I'm good at that. Good at jiggling.
Turn it on and off. Make sure everything's plugged in. Check all the connections.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's that whenever I tell someone to plug their modem in and out, I feel like, it's like, I could do IT. I could be an IT guy. I could do this.
Is
you
it
know?
plugged in? Did you
Is it
turn it
plugged in?
on?
Power it on.
Did you forget your password?
Checklist.
Sir, you cannot type with your feet. Please stop doing that.
All right. Well, at the bottom of the map for Team Redbloods and in the blue, we've got PiLiPiLi.
And in the top, in the Protoss pink, whoa, it's Acer Scarlet.
So one of our most requested things from the last stream was people wanted to see the income tab more. And you know what?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty darn important. So, I mean, obviously we don't see any differences right now because they're just each at 9 workers, but I think it'll be really cool to see once we have, Scarlett, she's probably going to go for your typical 14 pool, unless... Okay, never mind. I wasn't looking at the production, and I didn't see that there was an Overlord. I was like, do we have a 10 pool? No. Not this time.
Well, once she gets her second base up with
Yeah,
drones
hey,
that'll be a little bit more
Help
interesting.
us test out this new idea for the economy. All in every game, never off one base. It seems that all ins still work pretty well with this new economy. Thanks, guys.
Well, we found that out with parting. 2 base and 3 base pressure are pretty strong still.
Yeah. Apparently Blink is still a really great upgrade.
Yeah, apparently Blink is still good. I
Yeah.
think, StarCraft 3, if the Stalker is a unit, Blink and +2 will still be good against Zerg. Like that. That's just a universal truth about StarCraft. It's Blink and +2 is good against Zerg.
That sounds about right. So do you think she's going to go for a quick third hatch here, or is she... Because she's droning up quite a bit behind the hatch first.
Yeah, one of the big things about economy change, especially in both of these economies, the Legacy of the Void and the Double Harvester, is that the Overlord speed is the same. So there's no longer this scout, I get to make this decision by scouting with my Overlord. The decision to either take that third hatch quick or build a pool comes after the Overlord is in place to scout it. Super fast Zealot. Wow, he's actually... Is he chrono boosting? Yeah, he's chrono boosting a couple of Zealots out. Nice early pressure from PiLiPiLi here.
Yeah.
You can expand behind it.
It's a pretty good read, too. I mean, he probably suspected that Scarlet would be trying to abuse this new economy, and, a single Zealot in your mineral line can be devastating.
Yeah, one of the other things that's kind of nice, it doesn't really apply too much at this point in the game because it's really easy to deal with APM type stuff, but a Zealot in a mineral line is a really nice APM trade for the Protoss. They have to invest very little actions in comparison to the Zerg, who has to invest many. And the harass has begun. And we have 1 dead drone, and we have potentially 2 dead drones, and runs dead drones away. And oh my
Nice
god,
little
I
micro.
Nice
switched up.
around.
Can you believe that? So much of the micros.
Oh, another one went down.
So,
That
yeah,
one
2
drone
kills.
solo.
And now another Zealot is coming in. So definitely a really annoying position to be in. we do have the Zerglings on the way, the queens as well. But nice thing about Zealots as a Zerg player is they're quite slow, so should be able to avoid most of this damage.
Yeah, outrun it with pretty much everything on the field here.
I'm so going to learn the hotkey for income tab this time around. Because I'm going to be pressing it all the time, because I always want to know now. Actually, wait, is there an economy tab?
Well, if we do look at the income tab now, like Scarlett, you know, she took her third. She's only got about, you know, seven minimum, 11 max on each base, but her income is already like 1,200 versus 800 in terms of minerals. So, you know, that's a pretty nice boost, especially since she already lost some drones to that harass too. So that's not even taking into account that she could have 3 or 4 extra drones on this too.
I'm actually surprised at the slightness of the economy difference here. And again, it's only numbers, right? So it's hard to contextualize. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of advantages Scarlet can get out of the free base here. Doing a little scouting up in the front, nothing to be worried about. Nice force fields from PiLiPiLi. But yeah, that's, you know, because Scarlet was talking about that before. Like, she didn't feel like it was a very extreme change, and I wonder if that's kind of what we're seeing here, and that it is a bit of a slight change.
Yeah, it definitely is more subtle than a lot of people were expecting at first. I think the big differences will come in, like you were saying earlier, like the mech versus Zerg situations where they are so immobile and you can actually get up to that 6 base economy, as opposed to here where it's just like 3 versus 2.
Yep. And PiLiPiLi going for the third base here off the backs of 2 sentries only. We'll have a warp in round +1 on the way as well. No major response from Scarlet just yet, aside from building insane amounts of drones, which are, you know, quite handy.
Yeah, one of the best units in the game.
Yeah, she is sort of droning up to those old levels of drones, though, right? You have 17 or so, 16 to 17 workers in each mineral line here, so.
Yeah. Looks like she'll just be able to transfer a bunch over to this 4th as soon as it's finished, and also sending some to these gas geysers immediately. And, I mean, it does give you an economic benefit to go above that 8. It's just, you know, not...
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I definitely agree with that. And that's kind of one of the common misconceptions that's really important to dispel. The most useful number of workers, it's not that, like, after 8 they become useless. It's just that it drops off a little bit sooner. So it starts dropping off at 8, but it's still, for the most part, useful to keep building those drones. We do have a small attack force coming in here. We have 7 sentries and a stalker, and a couple of roaches should be able to clean this up. Not really any energy for transfuse here. If the hatchery were to finish and we were to get to that point in the game. Nice, snipes out a queen, pretty good force fields here. This is going to be kind of difficult to DPS down, and and a little bit of holes in the force fields. The sentries are beginning to go down, and no, hatchery is not denied. PiLiPiLi needs to go home unsuccessful and a sentry short.
And all the while just getting his Sim City up and running. All these gateways going down at the 3rd.
Yeah, building placement super important for Protoss, especially against Zerg with those many melee units. And not many different types, but just Zerglings.
Yeah,
yes,
the Zergling plug.
Just lots of Zerglings, right? No one wants to deal with 1,000 Zerglings.
And all the while, Scarlett's actually taking her 5th base too. So this is something we saw a lot in the last show match. She just really wanted to get up to that at least 4, and usually she rushed the 5 base economy too. And it might be a little easier because she's not playing against Parting. I mean, he's just such an aggressive Protoss. So, you know, maybe this will give her a bit more time to actually get those economies up and running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do have a significant boost in economy coming out of Scarlet currently.
We've got a dark shrine on the way. It's like my favorite building.
It is the greatest building, is it not?
Yeah.
It does one thing. It makes Dark Templars a thing, and that's it. That's all it does. It strikes fear into the heart of all enemies everywhere. Oh my god, there's a dark shrine. And now they have to be afraid
Yeah,
for the rest
and
of
you
the
don't
game.
even have to build any. You just like have to have the building.
Yeah. Be like, hey, just build a dark shrine like right in front of their army. Hey, I got a dark shrine. Be afraid. All right, nice. Using this this narrow corridor down on the left side with all the sentries. That sort of stalker sentry thing has been really popular. 3-base blink builds in general have been really popular in the current Heart of the Swarm meta.
Plus, he's just about to finish up, so he's probably gonna go for engagement like right now. Oh, that probe just got.
Yep, really nice angles. Those force fields are not helping out as much as PiLiPiLi would have liked. He's probably going to jump out of here in a second.
He's
Yeah.
gonna need to.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Oh, those
gonna get
stalkers.
out. They're gonna blink away, but a few of them are gonna die.
That attack gets crushed pretty hardcore.
And the force
Pretty
fields were a
early.
little late. Didn't really contain the Zerg as much as PiLi would have wanted. There was also, like you said, just a massive angle. You know, the concave was huge.
Yep. Yeah, really good engagements. Those force fields had a lot of holes in them. I don't know if that was an intentional thing from PiLiPiLi to sort of spread them out and let a little bit of units through at a time, but it didn't work out in that particular scenario.
Oh, we can always ask him afterwards.
Oh man, this is an absolutely brutal.
Oh.
This is, this is getting bludgeoned by a hammer at this point in time. There's no finesse anymore. This is Scarlet and the power of macro.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. This is where macro kills you. Guess what? More stuff beats less stuff. Dark Templar are gonna try to save the day, but guess what? Overseers detect. Bam.
And, I mean, PiLi does have this small counterattack taking out the 5th base, but
She doesn't need it at this point.
Yeah.
She's about to get on top of his production, take out all those okay.
GG.
GG.
and if that didn't kill PiLi, she had a Spire just finishing. So, not a very great situation for him to be in.
Okay, so we'll see what map he would like to play on next.
Echo. All right, we're going to be on Echo.
Did you put a delay on the stream?
No, we're going by the honor,
Oh, okay.
honor code.
Which, of course, both of them have.
Yes.
Of course. Is this is there a prize pool for this, or is this
Yes.
purely
Yeah.
for honor?
We've got 75 Canadian going to the winner and 25 going to second place.
Nice. 75 Canadian.
Yeah, and then we called it second place on purpose. I know there were some ridiculous comments before about me calling it second place because I don't want to call anybody a loser.
Yes, because it's Canadian dollars.
Right. So there are no losers. We apologize to everyone. We're really nice and polite. That's like kind of the angle we're going with here.
Exactly. And it's all for
All right.
science.
And it's also all for
Oh,
science.
man. Everything I do is for science. Yep, Canadian dollars. My sister, when we were young, would always be like, hey, do you want a doll hair? And every time she would give me a hair from one of our dolls and just, God, it pissed me off so much.
Did
Oh,
it ever
man.
get funnier?
No, it got more infuriating every time I fell for it. And finally, I was just like, I've had it. No more doll hairs.
The American version of that is, hey man, do you want a buck? I'd be like, yeah, sure. And then you get punched as a result. Because that is slang for getting punched, as it is slang for $1.
That's like
As
way
well.
worse than ours.
Yeah, we're much more violent. It's the way it is. I guess it depends on which particular culture within the American culture you hung out in, but I hung out in a fun one.
Okay, in the bottom right, in the Princess Protoss pink, it's Acer Scarlet. And in the top left, in the cobalt blue, it's Redbloods PiLiPiLi.
That's nice. That's not cobalt blue. I like it.
Thank you. It's the only
You
thing I
ever
could
go
think
for
of.
like completely inaccurate, like in the powder blue, which is absolutely in the lavender blue, just in the octagon shaded blue. We have PiLiPiLi.
No, but I'll do that next time. I'll use a really inaccurate one. I've thought of it already.
All right, I'm ready for it. Builds are gonna happen.
Yep.
Pylons getting built, gateways following it up. So potentially potentially the some more of that zealot pressure.
Yeah, it definitely could be. And
Yeah.
it was very strong, but now, Scarlett mentioned in there she just wasn't ready for it because it hit a few, like probably like 10, 20 seconds faster, and you're just not prepared for it.
Yep, used to all the old timings, and the timings will always shift when the economy change is significant enough, and it is significant enough to shift timings. But again, it is still very sort of slight, which is interesting and fun.
And the thing I do like about this is, like, if somebody were to suggest this, 2 years ago at the start of Heart of the Swarm, and they were like, hey, we want to do these radical changes to the economy, and it's going to make it so you can't turtle anymore, and it's going to be really cool. It would just be like, well, we're not going to do that because it's, it's changing too much. But since we're going into Legacy of the Void, and you're already, trying out things like the 12-worker start, all that type of stuff, it really shows that they're that much more open to new ideas.
Yeah, they've definitely moved their stance slightly. They are becoming a bit more agile. I think that has been pretty much the weakness of the development of StarCraft compared to other esports is the lack of agility, the lack of patch frequency and things like that, and just not really sort of keeping up with the rest of the new dogs in the pack. But yeah, they're definitely adjusting in the more agile direction, which is a lot of fun. The other thing too is because these things were suggested at the beginning of Heart of the Swarm, and even in the beginning of Wings of Liberty, there's also mods now, so we can just make a mod and be like, hey, people can try this on any map. And that wasn't a thing for a very, very long time. So, having that option is very nice and allows the community to sort of do their part and do some research for Blizzard and say, hey, we did this research, this is what we came up with, what do you think?
And when people do that, it really shows how much passion is behind the idea, and that they're not just complaining on a forum. They're actually like putting in the math, they're doing the coding or whatever is involved in making a mod. I've never actually done it, but it's just
coding is involved. I can attest to that. I haven't done the coding myself, but I know the coding is involved. Most definitely.
So yeah, it really just shows Blizzard how much people care about this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is it's really important to realize that if we have actual data, then that's something that Blizzard can look at and say, oh, okay, now we have information. We can use this information to make a better decision, rather than people saying, I want you to do this, do it, or else I'll be unhappy. There's a lot more room for Blizzard to say, oh, okay, we have this new information, and now we can apply it, to our decision-making process, which is just nice for everyone. Proxy Pylon down over here looks like a 4-gate follow-up, as there are 4 gates, and they're being morphed into warp gates, and there's a Proxy Pylon, and kind of the elements are all kind of there.
Yeah, that's a pretty safe assumption.
Yeah.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on that.
Not gonna be with Blink. Yep. Fairly certain of that. Yep.
Well, there we go.
But yeah, 4-gate pressure is gonna be pretty nice here. So far on the scouting front, we has a little bit of scouting. We know that the second Proxy Pylon place is coming in. The attack is here.
This is gonna be a little
nice little force of queens here and Lynx.
Actually surprised her Zergling speed is so low.
Yeah, we noticed this a few times in the last match too. Parting would come over and she just wasn't quite prepared. She didn't have her lane speed. She didn't have her Roach Warren. All those things you kind of need to hold off these sort of two base timings.
Well, the Roach Warren's finished now. 7 roaches are on the way. It just depends on where they come out from.
Nice surround on those sentries.
Well, so
Man, dead sentries.
Yeah, that's rough.
That makes it sad, Protoss. But yeah, nice little attack here. I think he will get the hatchery. Scarlet, though. Oh, wait, not focusing it down. Go ahead and engage. 4 Zealots still in the back. Could take it down. Nope.
Oh, but they weren't right-clicking.
Wasn't targeting it down. It's going to get very, very close.
So close.
I think it's going to go down.
God. Nice. PiLiPiLi gets the kill.
Snipes the base. So, maybe not quite as much damage as he wanted to get done with that, but it was certainly a nice little attack there.
Oh, yeah. Canceling the third is gigantic. And, again, with this mod, canceling a third is more meaningful than it used to be, right? It cuts the economy of your opponent more than it used to be.
Well, of course.
And it has this, that, denying bases becomes stronger in the Legacy of the Void model. Denying bases similarly becomes stronger in this model. It's just not quite as extreme.
PiLiPiLi still got some zealots over here. I'm not sure if he forgot about them or, he's just waiting for an opportunity. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Scarlet's got a bunch of units out on the map. Not too much you can do with them right now. Not Legacy of the Void, so no Ravagers to take out this Mothership Core. And, yeah, I'm going to follow this up with +1. Scarlet being super smart, covering all of her bases, or rather covering all of her opponent's bases. She's going to scout this expansion, this attempted expansion coming down.
Yep, so PiLiPiLi going for the third. A pretty safe timing, And it's not quite as far behind as it normally would just because he was able to snipe that third. So I'd say pretty decent position.
Looks like those 4 zealots managed to wander their way in to very little effect, unfortunately. Not the best time to be sending them. Scarlet looking like she's going to move out a bit. See if this is just defensive posturing or if she's going to try to deal with this third from PiLiPiLi.
May have just been to spread that creep up the ramp.
For sure. If there's a creep spreading trick, Scarlet knows what it is.
Oh, of course.
That is most certainly one of the essential things to know when spreading creep. Is that if you have vision, you can spread it further.
And she really is a champion of the creep spread.
I've always loved her creep spreading.
I think most people have. That's when I started being like, oh my god, Scarlet, this is awesome. Because that was my thing for such a long time. I was just like, oh my god, why isn't there more creep spread? There should totally be more creep spread. Then Scarlet came around. I was like, yes, everyone be more like Scarlet. It just made me very happy. We are seeing the transfer here, so we're going to see a marked increase in economy for Scarlet.
And yep, it immediately jumps up. So she was pretty much equal with PiLiPiLi until that transfer, and now she's a solid few hundred minerals a minute ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yep, looking pretty good, and she's going to get that saturation down pretty quickly.
Yes, they have about the same amount of workers, too, so that's also important to note.
Yeah, I think that's really the central point of it all, right?
Yeah.
Will, if you have less workers, if you have the same amount of workers, just spreading them out in the bases really help you out. And it seems it does help you a bit here as far as the income tab goes. Also, it's good to keep in mind that fluctuates quite a bit, so it's hard to tell the exact average income because of X or Y.
Mm-hmm.
Or Z, as you all might say.
I don't know. Do you want to stick in Cartesian?
I don't know what Cartesian is.
Oh man, that was bad. Cartesian coordinates. Never mind. Let's just ignore that. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
At least once per cast, Susan makes a math or science joke that
no one gets, everyone thinks is lame, and then I just stick my head in a furnace.
But the important thing is that she likes it.
Well, it's just usually you stick your head in the sand like an ostrich, but a furnace. That's really taking it up a level there. Maybe a little on the dramatic side, which I like. Dramatic flair. That's good. That adds to the cast.
You'd think that, but
PiLiPiLi's trying to take the fourth now too, with a pretty fortified position. Got the 3 cannons. Got his army here just ready to jump in whenever necessary. Oh, that is really cute. Scarlet abducts the warp prism.
That's one way to deal with it.
Yeah.
You could build mutas, or you could just use vipers, which you're going to build anyway. Small things that make us StarCraft lovers happy.
I think the Viper abduct is one of the cutest animations in the game. It's just so funny. Seeing a Colossus fly across the screen.
I like too the graviton beam when the units are sitting there and they sort of flail about.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm trapped. What do I do? I think that's that rank. I was trying to think of other cute abilities for animations. I think that's definitely one of them. Interesting hold position. Gonna hang out directly in the area there. Nice blinding cloud. Ooh,
Pretty good storms.
Wow. Yeah, those got a lot of damage done.
There's just a lot of Templar here in general.
Yep, really tight area. Not a big place where Scarlet can get a huge surround on the Protoss army, which is a big part of the Sim City coming out as far as it is. She could take the long way around and start attacking down these multiple paths. She's just going to keep pushing this angle. Photon overcharge is down, so looking for engagement. There are a lot of storms. Oh my god, look at all the energy is absolutely nuts. But we are still missing some storms. Oh no,
those Templar are going suicidal. What is
Templar? It's the saddest thing in the world. It's absolutely sad.
They were going to stick their head in a furnace.
That's not what happens when you stick your head in a furnace. I would know.
Alright, well, the big Archon morph.
I mean, he's going to hold this off. For sure.
And I thought that maybe the fourth base would have went down, but no, it's
untouched.
Yeah,
really.
untouched.
Yep, nice defense there from PiLiPiLi. Workers are about 10 ahead for PiLiPiLi. When do you ever see this? Workers ahead for the Protoss against the Zerg. Scarlet, however, is on 5. Just about 5 base. No transfer to the 5th base just yet, but
yep, base is ready.
It's somewhere on its way. Yeah, it's ready to go. It's like definitely some transfers could be made from any of these bases to increase Scarlet's economy right now.
I'm interested in that comment that PiLi made about this being, this economy change maybe being a lot more difficult for new players to grasp. I'm just wondering, like, do you think that all of the worker transferring that's going to go on is going to be just like too much APM for a really new player to handle?
Oh, no way. It takes so little APM to transfer workers. I don't think it's a mechanical thing. I think it's
like 2.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's it's more of a like visual intuitiveness type of a thing. It's like, does it make sense that transferring workers will give you more money? And I think that was actually one of the advantages of the Brood War model, because it just looked more efficient with the workers not bouncing around when you spread them out,
That's true, yeah.
But in any case, I don't think that Blizzard will be moving towards that model because it doesn't look good, and they want their game to look good. Make an awesome game that people want to play. That's looking good and feeling good first, and then it's like, okay, well, it's also an esports, so we got to deal with that, right?
Oh, really nice feedbacks on the Viper there.
Yeah.
Now, these Brood Lords are really going to screw up this Immortal with their Broodlings. I think it's so funny when they get the surround and it just like the AI gets really crazy.
Hardcore from one control group syndrome. The fact that these Templar are not on upper control group is a big reason why he's lost a lot of Templar before.
Oh my god, they're getting so close. They're getting so close. The storms on the Brood Lords are good, but so many Templars are getting suicidal.
Nice transfuse. Oh my god, those storms. So many of those units are super low, and we see more storms go down. It looks like PiLiPiLi says, I can sacrifice all of my Templar. I don't even care.
Now there are none left, though, so what is... He doesn't have Storm.
Now he's got some Archons, so... and he's got the supply lead, so that's a thing. No, but it is most definitely a thing. And this base is not long for this world at all. It's a really difficult scenario for Scarlet, especially with her army trapped in. She's going to try to make a surround of it, but it's not looking all that good. That single Broodlord in the back, and we have the Broodlord more finishing up. If she can keep these Broodlords safe in the back, she's going to do quite well for herself. Blinding Cloud actually stopping the Broodlords from doing the bulk of their damage, which is on contact damage. Well, we do have a little bit of a tech advantage here for Scarlet, and she is going to GG out on account of not having enough.
GG.
Well played.
All right, well, let's find out what our third map is going to be with a 1-1 score going into the third.
Taking her time choosing that map.
Yep, got to be careful.
Yeah. Someone in the chat brought up something. It's pretty unintuitive when there's a big sign saying X out of 24, yet somehow you should know to transfer if you spread out 8 per base. And that's with this economy. And with the other economy, you don't know that you should be spreading out after 16.
That's true. Yeah.
And actually, that's something, teaching new players how to play, that's something I always have to tell them to completely ignore. This says out of 24, but it's really out of 16. 16 is the number that you want. It's like, oh, okay, great. Why did it say 24? And I'm just like, just don't even worry about it. It's silly.
Pretend it's not there.
Got it. No, it's it's good to explain the why. And expedition or no?
Iron Fortress.
Perfect.
Cool.
That is an interesting comment though, because I remember, when I was teaching Susan or showing StarCraft to Susan, that's one thing I just totally forgot to tell her.
Yeah, I know.
Until a few months later.
And then you were like, don't put 24 workers there. I'm like, why not? It says 24. And then you didn't explain yourself. You just said not to do it. And I ignored you for another few months.
Telling people why dramatically increases the adoption rate of your ideas.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Answering the why question is critical.
I think the worst part is that I'm a professional teacher and I could not do this simple task.
StarCraft's a complex game, man, even for a pro teacher. Pro gamers, pro teachers, everybody's struggling. What do you teach?
Teach English as a second language, mostly online stuff. So
Cool.
People talk to me on Skype from Dubai.
Nice. That's really cool.
It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I imagine you. Is it always just Dubai, or is it people all around the world?
It's mostly Dubai because they have a lot of money. And they're all interested in their children learning English and going to schools here.
Okay, in the bottom left, in the squid magnetometer pink, it's Acer Scarlet. And in the top left, in some color blue, I guess, it's PiLiPiLi. No, I'm kidding. In the furnace blue, it's Redbloods PiLiPiLi.
Oh man, you've got to make that a thing. The furnace blue. Yeah, it's the lovely furnace blue color.
Actually, one of the furnaces I use is blue. Yeah. That's... I didn't even really think about that one.
That's actually a pretty similar shade to this, too.
It is.
I guess some context is needed. Susan does
There's no context needed. I do things with furnaces.
Yeah, she does work in a lab where she heats up chemicals to very high temperatures. And so she's working with furnaces all day, every day. And Scarlett got a very quick pool coming up. With
nice. She's cheesing on a... Well, not really cheesing. She's getting quick pool on a 4-player map. That's interesting.
It doesn't look like she's canceling the gas either. So do you think we've got 10 pool baneling or just going for speed?
I like 10 pool speed against Protoss. We'll see what Scarlet likes. I think both are somewhat, they're both kind of useful. I think speed is more common. We'll have to see if I get to eat my hat or not.
Fortunately for her, her first Overlord is actually going to scout out where PiLiPiLi is. As long as she hasn't changed its vector.
But PiLi's also scouting her first, too. So he's going to see this coming and potentially have a response ready. He's not walling at the ramp, so that's going to make it slightly different.
Going to have to do something. Probably beginning with... Oh, he doesn't have enough to chrono boost out the first Zealot, but probably going to build that Zealot right away. There we are. And a lot of this kind of engagement, especially against Zerglings, workers can fight against Zerglings pretty well, but it's the same thing as sort of this APM imbalance where it takes a lot of actions to have workers deal well with Lings, whereas it takes very few for the Ling player. So it's that nice exchange. Zealot helps out a lot. One Zealot will be out, second one on the way, and of course we have this lovely Sim City here from PiLiPiLi, which is going to help a lot with the micros.
Yeah, that is some very nice positioning. Although, with the speed in production down here, she can maybe exploit the, the inherent slowness of the Zealot. But immediately loses one Zergling, so that's not a great start.
All right, and now that these 2 Zealots are out, you can choose to have one guard the bottom side, one guard the top side. It's going to keep them together for the time being. This Mothership Core is really going to start pushing out the and basically ending this rush.
So PiLiPiLi takes
Scarlet.
like no damage, which is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very great
And
defense.
Scarlet has used this early pressure to secure a base. Looking for damage, didn't get it. Still going to secure that earlier base, which is helpful. PiLiPiLi in a pretty good position to move out and take an expansion as well.
Yeah,
Scarlet
having
is
that
gonna get the scout off on this.
having that pressure does, prevent him from taking it as soon as he normally would want to, though. So, that is something.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I didn't really consider with an early all-in like this, as the economy benefits players who spread out their bases more, players who can expand or can realize that, okay, this is going to get the damage I want to get done. I'm going to expand quickly and delay their expansion. Makes the aggression a little bit more, I think, common, because it's a little bit more forgiving as a result.
She's got one Zergling checking every single base.
Not interested in any shenanigans. One interesting comment we heard from Scarlett before the first match was that she was talking about how something like a 9 pool might end up being a little less all in now, because the difference, like if you can keep them on one base with your rush, then the difference between your 10 or so workers is less severe than now if your opponent has the 16 saturation. So, like, in the current Heart of the Swarm model, you'd be super far behind, but now you're not quite so far because you at least have that 8 mineral saturation, or 8 worker.
Oh, absolutely. And we do have a small little move out here. Actually going to bring a probe and drop a pylon. This is going to serve the dual purpose of a potential forward warping point, and it'll be nice for this base, assuming that PiLiPiLi decides to expand in that direction. Aggressive warping with the sentries. That will not be a thing in Legacy of the Void, because everything would be dead. Yeah, we just have the slow, steady march of the pylons.
Yeah.
They move their way forward, down south, for the winter.
Keeping it nice and warm on the Zerg side of the map.
That's right, very important. That creepastus spread, they want that slowed down by frost. Ooh, nice couple of force fields, saves the sentries. Removes their ability, of course, to force fields. Ooh. And the pylon is going to go down. In the meantime, we have an attack coming in on the third base. It's going to be pretty difficult. These force fields are good. Should be able to deal with this. No, going to try to kill some units here.
I'm not sure if I agree with that choice.
Let's go.
I think
with
you
more
should have
zealots.
just focused on the third.
Yeah.
But,
Force field off is focusing down the third is what I thought, especially with that pylon in place. It wasn't really as necessary to protect that back pylon, but we're going to see exactly how it works out. Some nice force fields here. The Zealot's able to do a lot of damage to these roaches. Some of that moving around a little bit in the back, negating some of that DPS. But overall, the force fields are doing reasonably well. The Zealots are wailing upon them roaches, but the defender's advantage, the rally point of the Zerg player here, is incredibly strong.
He's just going to have to get out from here or risk losing all these sentries.
And you really don't want that to
warp
happen.
in. Things, the roaches are still going down here. And nice, we have a stalker. This is going to add a little bit more meat to this army, a little bit more DPS as well. It's going to help it out quite a bit. But yeah, it does look
There's very
like
few force fields left.
PiLiPiLi is stuck and will pull out.
Yep, there's
No
the
units
recall.
lost on that last pullout, but yeah, I was really expecting a focus down on that hatch. Didn't see
Yeah,
it.
because with that many force fields, PiLiPiLi could have just taken out the hatch, been happy with that, and left. But with the hatch staying up, all he really did was thin out some numbers and force out units instead of drones.
Yeah, I wonder if he was expecting to deal a killing blow there, or like I'm wondering in what scenario does PiLiPiLi deal more damage than taking out the third there? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, he basically would have had to get in on top of the production, if he could take out that army and then get between the, the main, the third, and the natural, sort of divide and conquer, but that's a tall order for a small gateway force.
Yeah, and especially with this particular map, there's a lot of space in that central area that you might go in. Unless you get all the way down into that natural area where you can, force field the ramp, and then you have a little bit of action up in the top. It's a little bit choked out.
If we look at the income now, Scarlet with her third saturated, getting pretty significantly more mineral income than PiLi. So that's going to add up.
She has 7 harvesters ahead, but that is pretty close.
PiLi trying to take his third as well, but all the while Scarlet is taking her fourth. So just stay in that standard Zerg of the standard Zerg feeling of one base ahead. Got to be one base ahead all the time. Or now even more possibly with the new economies.
It's also kind of wild to see the non-multiples of 5 numbers up in the mineral area, as this is DH9.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
with each return, 9 minerals are returned and not 10.
That was really messing with me when I was practicing this, because I kept getting those situations where it's like you're 1 mineral off what you want to do, and then you got to wait for an entire harvest cycle, or an entire return. Only really matters in the early game, but a little funny to see that happen.
Yeah, so we do have this sort of scenario that we've been looking for a while now, which is PiLiPiLi sticking on this 3-base economy for quite some time. Both players having the same number of workers, and you can see that there is a significant advantage for Scarlet in economy right now, as PiLiPiLi is taking the advantage in tech by getting up to High Templars and Storm +2 almost finishing up here.
So yeah, PiLi going for the tech as opposed to the economy, just wants that super efficient Protoss ball. And also going for a warp-in over here. So these spines are not going to be finished yet. And there's, Scarlet's pretty out of position.
Yeah, way out of position. She is going to choose to go all the way back home with... Nope.
No, I think she's going to split.
Split off. Nice.
Take out his fourth.
Like that move, but yeah.
Well, PiLi's actually just hold positioning because there were some workers there at one point.
A little bit of miscontrol there. Does manage to force back that attack at his fourth, does PiLiPiLi. So small victory there. And once PiLiPiLi is up to 4 base on 4 base, it'll be in a really nice spot. But in the meantime, Scarlet is sort of exploding in supply here, taking a big advantage.
And also taking up to that greater spire. And we're getting into another situation where PiLi doesn't really have any response to Broodlords. Like, I mean, if you can blink under them, that's okay, but a Broodlord that can abuse terrain is just gonna wreck stalkers all day.
Well, he does
I'm just
have
envisioning so much just one EMP. Look at what would happen. Oh my god, it would be so beautiful.
Okay, let's get a Terran in here.
Yeah, there are 11 High Templars, and he does have Storm, so that's all.
This time choosing to separate out some of the High Templar into a second control group. Good job, PiLiPiLi.
Yeah, but only 4 of them.
Well,
I guess it'll
I'm
work.
gonna go ahead and give PiLi the benefit of the doubt and say this is an advanced mechanical technique.
There we go.
Okay, I can buy that.
There's the 11. Okay, he does put all the 11 in there. So, just it's about having the control groups ready for when you need them. And so far, this game, that is lined up. Let's see if we have any more.
Well, there's
Suicidal High Templar as a result. Nice little positioning here with these spines. And
meanwhile, there's a counterattack up at PiLiPiLi's third by Scarlet.
Gonna have
wow,
to turn
really
around
effective.
though.
Gonna go home with these units though. I think that's a big
Oh,
mistake. Finishing off this bases.
The Broodlords, so slow, are getting demolished by that storm.
And a lot of those stalkers aren't even real, but they're tanking a lot of hits from the broodlings.
Yeah, this is a very sort of nuanced style. Yeah, like how often do you see hallucinated stalkers? I mean, almost never, right? You know, and I know this because I analyze replays to make frequency charts and such in order to make the core hotkey layout, and I know that the hallucination of a stalker is one of the least used like things in the entire game. Like one of the least pressed keys in the entire game is whatever you set that to every time.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Something that you know, PiLiPiLi is just special because he is the stalker hallucinator.
Okay, I got a question for you now then. What is
All right.
less common, hallucinated stalkers or bunker capacity?
I'll look it up.
All right,
There
I'm
you go.
excited to hear the answer.
Okay, so most of PiLiPiLi's army right now is stalkers. There are 3 High Templar and 2 observers. See these High Templars get some good storm off. That one was a pretty good storm. He needs to storm the Broodlords though. He didn't quite finish them off last time, so they're still doing quite a bit of damage.
And they're all quite weakened too, which is another thing. Like, if he could get rid of those broodlords, this army would have a lot easier of a time. But as of right now, they're just raining down death, and GG is called.
Okay, so Scarlet takes game number 3.
In 10,000 games, Neo Steel Frame was upgraded 10 times. And
Oh my
what was the
God.
other one? A hallucination, right? Hallucinated stalker. And there were 0 hallucinated stalkers in 10,000 games,
Oh my
Wow.
god.
conversely.
So Neo Steel Frame, that won.
Yep.
I'm a little surprised by that.
Yeah, well, have you ever seen a hallucinated stalker before this game?
I have, on the GSL actually.
Wow.
It was really cute. I've only seen a hallucinated Colossus once, though. Actually, no, maybe a little more than that.
Yeah,
I think
that seems
hallucinated
more.
Colossus
yeah.
is a little more common.
Maybe I just don't pay attention to it anymore.
In order, I have Phoenix, then Colossus, then Immortal, then Warp Prism, and then the rest are 0.
Huh. Really, a War Prism?
So like fake a drop, I suppose.
I guess, yeah.
Can you get the hallucination to morph into... What is that?
Oh, he
warp
doesn't have
mode?
any abilities. I wonder though. No. Hallucinations don't have any abilities, so you can't like press any buttons that would make the hallucination do anything but move.
Here we go, Expedition Lost. I hope someone takes the gold. Would you like to do the honors?
Me?
Yes, you.
I would love to. Here, in the aesthetically pleasing light bulb pink, in the bottom left-hand corner of our screen, we have Acer Scarlet. And in the true blue coloring of the Majestic Moose in the top right, we have PiLiPiLi.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I really like your choices there.
Yeah.
Majestic Moose was spot on.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah.
alliteration too.
Thank you.
Whoa.
It is. I have to admit, it is a Monty Python reference. So I didn't invent the majestic moose. I only summoned him to this game here.
I haven't heard the word alliteration in like years.
Oh wow! I say that. I say like every day. Alliteration. I see that all. That's like alliteration equals truth. I mean, that's how you can tell if things are true. If they rhyme or if there's alliteration. You know, you're looking at a sign, advertisement. If it's one of those things, you know they're telling the truth. You know.
Well, we might see a cannon rush here. PiLiPiLi bringing out a bit of the cheese.
Yeah, very likely to see the cannon rush. As the forge is down. So far, probe not been spotted. But then, of course, it is a reasonable time to have a probe out. And even if it's not, all the timings are a little bit messed up. So
That's true.
it may not be. Oh,
Ooh.
I don't care about getting scouted, says PiLiPiLi. I'm just going to throw down these 2 pylons into this perfectly placed cannon rush spot. And then I'll make some... Ooh, I think he's going to try to do a cancel trick to get out of here.
I think he can just make the cannon there. It'll push him out.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that. That's so fancy. I'm so glad that carried over from Brood War.
I've tried doing that a few times and it always fails miserably.
Yeah, it's just... Is he going to try to go back now? Is he like, can he get back in? Like...
That would be like
That would be
so
pretty
many
nuts.
levels of Inception.
I mean, I imagine that you can somehow. 'Cause
If
if you
you-
can go through one way, why not be able to go through the other way? But yeah, pretty wild. In any case, Scarlet going to go ahead and do the natural response to this, which is take tons of bases and you know, potentially take a base in the top left eventually, which is, you know, obviously that's what you want to do whenever you get cannon rushed. Just take all the rest of the bases on the map before they get cannons there.
Of course.
Because once they get cannons there, you just lose the game. You have to GG.
And PiLiPiLi here has just decided to become a massive jerk, even throwing down a second cannon to stop the reinforcements from coming
looks
out.
like we're going to be cannon rushing this base as well. Looks like someone's been watching SOS. Excellent. PiLiPiLi getting ready. I love also
The
that
drones.
PiLiPiLi here is also he's a fellow capitalizer of only consonants and not vowels. I really appreciate that from him.
He actually found the top left base and is now cannon rushing that.
Oh my god.
So
Perfect. Perfect.
You know, I gotta say about your comment about the capitalization, typing up all the different things for this event was just like, oh my god, my pinky on the shift key just kept going and going. PiLiPiLi, jack attack.
Yeah. You know, I appreciate that because some people will like. I think the most common miscapitalization is that people will get lazy at the end. They'll start capitalizing every other, and they'll just leave that capital K, the last one. They'll just leave it at the end. They're just oh fuck it. Interesting. Scarlett's throwing down some spine crawlers here. She thinks she's going to be able to save this. PiLiPiLi in response goes ahead and throws down another cannon. Very, very close to coming down here. This is super tight. I think it's going to make it through. Queen should be able to finish it off. Yeah, nice and out of range. Queen should be able to finish that off. Spine crawler is going to finish. Does Scarlet actually have to... Does she get a base? Does she get a base number 2? Does she get to have one?
well, the one in the bottom right will probably finish up.
Yeah, that one will definitely.
Never
probe.
know. It's like, there's a probe. It's going to go right over there next. You wait.
The probe may not get out here alive.
Now,
Oh, it's attacking the
interestingly,
hatchery.
Yeah, PiLiPiLi's focusing down the hatch.
Look at the... And
Oh,
it's
that
actually
probe.
messing up the AI of the lings.
Oh my
there
god,
for a
does it
second.
live?
Oh,
it doesn't
my
live.
god.
That was so
That-
close.
That probe is a hero. If that probe hadn't attacked the hatchery, it would not have gone down. That's a hero
That's
probe
true.
right there.
That's true.
What's the
Oh my
zealot
God.
coming down now?
That's a true Proberto, for sure. 1000%. Hero Proberto.
So I can't even imagine the mindset that Scarlett's in right now after you get like three bases cannon rushed?
Three bases cannon rushed.
And
I
two
know
of them
I would
di-
be
no,
like
two-
totally messed up, but because it's Scarlet, I'm sure she's like, oh yeah, when three of my bases get cannon rushed, this is what I do. I'm sure I'll be fine. No worries about it.
That's true. If anyone does have experience dealing with Protoss shenanigans, she would be that person.
That
She actually
and
plays like a mean Protoss as well, so she may have, you know, executed some shenanigans of her own on occasion.
That's
Knowing the
very
other side
true.
of the coin is quite useful. Most of the high level players are very good at random as well, knowing my enemy and all that jazz.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, just playing a lot with the other races, it really lets you find their weak spots. You know, you try to execute a build that you've been having trouble with, and then realize when they're low on units or something like that.
Also very helpful psychologically to break out of the looking at everything from your own race's perspective.
That's
sort
true.
of tunnel vision that sometimes happens.
The I can't ever beat this. It's Imba.
yeah, the I hate Marines. They're OP.
Yeah, it's a very simple formula to find out what's OP. You just find the things that beat you, and then
Yeah.
that's how you know what's OP. It's sometimes it seems more complex than that, but if you look at it closely, it's actually any more complex than that.
No, that's all it comes down to.
Yep.
Oh my god, that Zergling got away.
That's pretty unbelievable.
So PiLiPiLi, if at first you don't succeed, cheese again. Got a 2 base plus 1 attack timing coming up right here. He gets that awesome forward warp-in point for free. It's actually going to tank some of the damage from the spine crawler that was going for that pylon with the stalker. Ooh, Sniper a little bit of position here. Manages to get out in any case. +1 is finished just about now. No Zergling speed again.
But the roaches are about to come out. So we'll see.
And this is a nice position to be in between the bases, taking advantage that Scarlet had to take her bases so far apart, using these cannons as well. This is a really nice spot for PiLiPiLi, and the damage is terrible.
I think that's just gonna have to be GG. This game was just, the compilation of all this Zerg tragedy has just ended up in this situation you're looking at right now. Drones are off the line fighting stalkers and zealots. Roaches are time warped and force fielded. Not a good situation.
GG. Well done.
So now it scores even up. 2-2. And we'll see what map Scarlet would like to play on.
Cactus.
No, it's Cactus.
Oh yeah, calf.
No, it's Cactar.
Oh, you're right. It's clearly Cactar. God.
Cactar. No. The F is silent.
Oh, sorry, everyone in the chat. We forgot to put the score up. It's now tied at 2-2. 2-2.
Amazingly, we're reading it.
So it's basically 0-0. So we didn't even have to put.
Now it's like a best of 3. So.
You just don't tell anyone. Oh yeah, best of 3. Best of 3.
Yeah.
Well, it was totally intentional. Yeah. 0-0.
Did you invite Jack?
Yes, you got an invite, right?
No. You're starting the game.
Scarlet declined for some reason.
I want to watch the game too.
Okay, you're up against Peely.
I got it. Peely's a slouch. He
Um,
doesn't even
jeez.
know how to put High Templar on a secondary control group.
What a
Show
noob.
him.
Terrible.
Give me a handful of Ravagers and I'll show him what Zerg can do.
The Ravagers, they got a pretty big change to them. I mean, I know this has nothing to do with the economy, but what do you think about that change?
I think it's a exaggerated change. Similar to Cats, I think that one of those changes would have been useful, but both is overkill.
Yeah, it seems like it's taking it a step a little too far. I mean, the artillery shot is still amazing, but that's only if you hit it.
Yeah, it's more of a zoning mechanic than anything else. Initially, people were like, "Oh my god, it does so much damage," and then they're like, "Oh wait, to counter the Ravager, you micro." As this new thing, it's like, wait, I don't build a unit to counter something, I micro to counter. Wait, what? Which in game design terms is called counterplay, and we're seeing a lot of that counterplay starting to enter its way into StarCraft, which is really, really nice. Hopefully we'll see the removal of the anti-counterplay units like the Force Field, which is wait now. Okay.
Okay, so in the bottom right, in the maple leaf blue, it's PiLiPiLi for Team Redbloods.
And in the bottom left, in the Boston Bruins pink, is most obviously Scarlet.
That's a good one.
Not that the Maple Leafs are, it's the Canucks, but it's Canada versus Boston. Whatever, we'll take you guys on.
Well, I don't know who I'd cheer for in that one.
I remember growing up as, as the good Canadian boy I was. I just, I loved hockey. I loved the Maple Leafs. And then one day I realized that, they suck and they're always going to suck. It's just going to be like that forever. And I haven't watched hockey since.
Well, there was a time when a team called the Boston Red Sox were
God.
And that changed.
With the curse of the Bambino.
Yeah, man. And then and there was also a time when the New England Patriots were one of the worst teams and just like sucked forever, and then that changed. What I mean to say is New England sports are
amazing.
They're the best. We have the best sports.
Certainly
and
not true.
Soon we will have the best StarCraft players.
Are you going to Korea?
No, man. Nope. No way. I'd love to go to Korea sometime. Just not there right now.
Not ready to go practice. Get your career jump started.
With some Korean players, so
there you go.
It's kind of like the same thing. I don't get to play on the Korean ladder, but I get to ask Violet how to Zerg better, which is nice.
How does that work out for you?
Pretty good. He's really smart. By the way, Violet's opinion on the economy changes is that double harvesting is way better than Legacy of the Void economy.
There we go.
And
perfect.
The reason why Zerg is in such a hard place right now is not because of the swarm host, but it's actually because of the economy.
That's an interesting perspective because, I think you said it earlier, but if with these economy changes, the Zerg just has the ability to just throw endless amounts of units at like a meching Terran, then it's basically like you have Locust again, right? Like if you have
it's like
so
a
much
softer
economy.
Locust, right? So it's not this boring infinite thing. It's this costs money, trading inefficiently becomes a strategic option. Again,
Has he tried the economy mod?
I don't know. I will ask him. So far, I only know that he has discussed it theoretically with myself and other pro gamers.
Because, we are looking to do more of these. So if we can get Violet on the show, that would be really cool.
I will totally talk to him about it.
Scarlet immediately going up to that 3-base economy, and we're about to see her minerals jump. Or we should. As soon as these extra workers get over there.
Yeah. Transfer a little bit off, but pretty close. We got 9, 10, and 6. That's the other thing too. Managing your economy becomes a useful use of your APM, right? It becomes like I can gain an advantage by changing the way that I'm building my workers and where I'm rallying them and things like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Instead of just boxing your workers for the first 5 minutes and then fighting.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole boxing the workers for the first 5 minutes thing, that's definitely going to change. Whether it's Legacy of the Void economy or Double Harvest, that's already going to change. That's guaranteed. Blizzard is not having any more of this. Let's talk about Nintendo games for the first 5 minutes of StarCraft and then move on to the game itself. They have decided that it would be better if we start making decisions strategically immediately, and hopefully that effect, the thing that has that effect to the greatest ability, will be in place on Legacy of the Void release, which is a big part of why we're doing this, is to not really to say this mod is the best, but to sort of open a discussion about what is good and what is better, and what affects the kind of change that will create a better game as well as a better esport.
There's a tip when you play in the game, and it says the key to a strong economy is constantly making workers. When I first started playing, I really took that to the extreme, and there would be games I'd end up with more workers than like good units, which someone also didn't tell me about. Nick.
Okay. In my defense, I was teaching her with the day 9 principles of probes and pylons all day. You know, just get those things down and you'll eventually have, a good army to go with it. And then I forgot that she was such a good learner that she would end up with like 150 probes.
Well, you know what the thing is, though? It's really easy to learn to shut that off. It's really difficult to learn the skill of constantly making workers.
That's true.
So I definitely think the approach of, okay, learn how to constantly make workers, and then say, okay, this is where I stop doing that thing that I've learned how to do, is a much more easier approach than, all right, make some more workers this game. You didn't really make enough. Get up to a little bit higher worker count this time. It's like, okay, I think it's a little bit nicer approach. In your defense, as a professional educator, I think you did an excellent job in approaching the most efficient way to develop, habitual mechanical skill.
And I did it all by accident. But anyway.
No. You did that on purpose.
You're right. I'm a great teacher.
By the way, fast expand, and by fast expand, I mean like fast expand across the entire length of the map. My God, these are a lot of expansions.
She just needs to take that top left and just get a monopoly on the left side.
That's right. And when you get a monopoly, you get to charge double rent at all your bases.
Oh my God.
So much more money every time she passed go. Speaking of pass and go, these Zerglings are just going to come in and kill a whole bunch of stuff. Is there even a escape pass for these workers? I feel like there's not.
No, not really. They have to go through the Zerglings.
There's a small path
there is a little small gap. Okay.
But PiLiPiLi's actually moving out on the map here, so Scarlet's gonna have to pull back, gonna have to make some more units instead of droning up these 5 bases. Wait, 6? 6 bases.
What?
Yep,
5.
6 base.
Where's the 6?
Oh wait, no.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6 is in our mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Let's just stop counting and start looking at what this fight's.
When it comes to math, you get to win. You get to do all the maths. And speaking of maths, I believe it's approximately 1 bazillion Zerglings have died so far in this attack. That is, of course, an approximation. It may be 1 or 2 higher or lower than that.
Oh, the infestation pit goes down, which is a little annoying.
PiLiPiLi has worked himself into a really, really nice choke point here. He can get a lot of damage done, and he prevents a little bit of this army from coming out. Scarlet may have over-droned here. We'll see. Ooh, a little bit of a misrally. These roaches not getting controlled. A little bit of a missed opportunity for dead sentries. Dead sentries always the
best sentry.
Yeah, a dead sentry is the best sentry. I couldn't agree more. But
she's in a lot of trouble here.
She's in a lot of trouble. She's got a lot of room to run, but the problem is her tech is being taken out. Luckily, her Roach Warren and her spawning pool are in her main base, which are not under attack right now. But this position from PiLiPiLi is really difficult to deal with.
On the force field on the ramp to slow down any reinforcements. Nice touch there.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's running out of force fields now. He's only got, I think, about 3 left.
So if Scarlet can hold this off, this would be like a perfect. Oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind that. I was gonna say it could be like a perfect.
The economy is good, but it's not that good.
Perfect example of how strong having that much money is, because like if she could hold that off just by throwing endless waves of roaches at it, it would have been a really great data point.
Okay, this is This potentially the last game if Pili takes it, but
That's right. Match point coming up.
I would prefer if Scarlet did, so then we could have a best of one.
Mm-hmm. Best of ones are my favorite best ofs. That's why I like ladder so much. Best of one.
I think it's pretty amazing to see how much better PiLiPiLi's gotten over the past few, even just like the past few months. Like watching him perform lately, getting into WCS, all very great achievements for this young Protoss.
Yeah, major up and comer for sure. And he has been for a while. It's definitely good seeing him get those results.
I do like seeing new Protosses. I do play Protoss, but that means I can hate on them more, and it's okay.
I really like seeing just the non-Korean talent grow too, because I love watching Koreans play, and it's always great to see the next Maru come through and wreck everybody at age 12. But something like this is just really cool to see because the odds are kind of stacked against them. It's the true underdog story.
Yeah, and he's from fucking Kazakhstan. Like, how awesome is that? Like, he can say I'm the best player from Kazakhstan. It's like,
that's very true.
You're right. You definitely are.
Like, who's gonna debate that?
Yeah, but it's great to see more countries, producing StarCraft, producing high-level StarCraft players, and I think that as we, continue to push forward, we're going to see more representations from a wider variety of countries moving forward.
Yeah, it's especially interesting because the debate is always like, North America, Europe, Korea. Nobody really throws any of those other regions into the equation.
Yep. Yeah, Panda Tank, South African player for a while, doing very well despite ridiculous ping that he had to play with at all points in time.
Probably one of my favorite, groups of people to watch play are the Chinese players, because just the things they come up with,
it's so different.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. They are kind of in their own little StarCraft world, and then they come out of that world and compete in WCS, and it's like, whoa, what is going on here? It's really, they do have their own sort of brand of Protoss, their own sort of meta game.
So in the titanium dioxide pink, it's Acer Scarlet.
And in the bottom right-hand corner of our screen, in the left pinky toe blue, it's PiLiPiLi.
Left pinky toe. So specifically left, why not right?
My right pinky toe is red. Everyone knows that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I haven't been
That's
creeping
fair.
you as much. I better get on that.
If you gotta creep, you creep, and that's just the way the world works.
Now, the most important question is: do you have an Instagram account that can confirm this statement?
Oh, I have at least 12.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Yep, absolutely. This time around, PiLiPiLi considering
Is moving his probe?
I was gonna say Nexus first, but it looks like no.
Oh, another forge.
Oh my God, we've got a
another
forge.
cannon rush. It has served him well in the past.
But Scarlet actually
Will it
goes
again?
pool first.
So she should be completely safe, but whether she sees it or not.
Yep, cannon rushes can still be rough. It does take a lot of experience and good decision making and map awareness to deal with the cannon rush, whether or not you go pool first. So all you Zerg out there who go pool first and still have trouble with the cannon rush, worry not.
Oh, that is so
That's
annoying.
so annoying. Yeah.
A little bit of a pylon block. This probe is absolutely not going to get to this base in time.
Oh, she's distracted.
And she actually didn't have enough
There's
money
gonna
to
be
throw it
another.
down.
Waiting for the money.
Oh, but
100
she
minerals
takes
are
the
in.
natural.
There's going to be another block or not. The other one was canceled. We do have a Nexus first coming from PiLiPiLi, so perhaps noting that it was a pool first and deciding that it was a better option to not go ahead and do the cannon rush, but instead throw down the Nexus first and go for that economic advantage.
All the different mind games that are in like the first few minutes of a ZVP are quite interesting. I really like that engagement between the probe harass, the potential for a cannon rush, and if it actually happens or not.
Yeah, I like the harvester mating ritual in which it must be complete before a hatchery can be born, and sometimes it must be completed before a Nexus is born, two different genders, actually 3 genders of StarCraft with 3 genders. So, you never know which is going to come out of this scenario. I mean, even if you're in the base that's supposed to be Protosses, sometimes the mating ritual turns out to produce a hatchery. And it's just a beautiful thing to behold.
The wonders of nature in StarCraft.
Yeah, absolutely, just undeniably fantastic.
So Scarlett's income about to skyrocket once she transfers some workers over.
Yep, getting that third base up nice and early. PiLiPiLi with the classic Protoss. I'm going to hang out in my base protected by my SimCity and cannon while you get 3 bases up. And then I will choose my tech after the Cybernetics core comes down. And we'll just have to see exactly how that works out. 2 gases so far for PiLiPiLi. In the meantime, only drones out of Scarlet, just making incredulous amounts of drones because she drones super hard. And why would you not, right?
Yeah. Well, because she can, really. Like, with the Forge into Nexus opening, there's very, very little immediate threats besides that cannon rush. So take that opportunity, get a lot of drones, especially on this economy mod where you can really abuse the extra income and production and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, positively. And a little bit of scouting attempt from Scarlet there. She did not get to see the tech just yet. It is a Robotech build.
Zealot's in a really great position.
Yeah.
Or wise.
Took out at least 1 worker. Got to see that the third is, being droned, so nothing too aggressive coming out of Scarlet just yet.
Scarlet going for a layer right now. And at least 1 more gas. There's the Roach Warren Evolution Chamber coming in as well. And we may just see, let's see, a little bit short on gateways at this point. Oh, we got a Twilight Council and a Robo off 2 base. 4 gates.
Now, what do you expect to come from this? Do you think it's going to be like a 2-base timing?
Well, he's teching pretty hard on 2 bases here. Wonder what this Twilight's all about. Going for Blink, but is going to be nowhere near ready for this attack. Blink will be prepared for this next push. We have +2 as well. Like I said at the beginning of the cast, +2 in Blink.
Really
is
good
against Zerg. Ooh.
We have a Warp Prism in the main.
Very nice. It looks like... Wow, is he just going to try to target this down? Not 100% sure. There's a lot of Zerglings here. I'm not sure if... Oh, yeah, going to pull out. Last moment there. The poor Zealot that got left behind. Hey, you forgot me. There's no room.
Space. Sorry, buddy.
Go home, Zealot.
We need a Warp Prism capacity upgrade to save that poor Zealot.
I would accept a Warp Prism capacity upgrade just so that we can get double Colossi drops.
Because one is most certainly not enough.
No, that's the whole reason we don't see it, right? Because one Colossus is just not good enough.
I want to see more Doom drops from Protoss. How are we going to see that if we don't increase capacity?
There you go.
Doom drops are the most exciting and interesting thing that could happen in a StarCraft game. We all know this.
That's why everybody loves TVT.
That's right. Everybody loves TVT, and everybody loves that the Doom drop is an integral part of modern day TVT.
Especially if you're
Everyone's a
Polt.
big fan. Yep.
Oh, Polt. But
Polt, the
PiLiPiLi,
greatest human that ever lived.
PiLiPiLi just being exceptionally annoying with this warp prism, doing little pickups. Although Scarlet does have a non-zero number of Hydras now, so the warp prism doesn't have as free reign of the terrain as it used to.
A non-zero number of Hydras, a good number to have.
Yep. Especially if you want to shoot things that are in the air.
All right, +2 is finishing up. Blink is finished. Got some Immortals with this as well. So here we... Is this going to be... Wait a minute. Have this pylon over here. Is this just the March of the Pylons, or is PiLiPiLi going to expand behind this? That would be quite strange and unexpected. Looks like... No.
Well, it's going to be difficult to get a
Ooh,
pylon.
look at this. Look at this flank incoming.
Oh,
Scarlet knocked down the rocks.
that's going to have to be a
Excellent move.
recall.
There's going to be a lot of force fields that need to block this off, and none of them are actually getting done.
Oh, the mothership core's down now. He can't leave even if he wanted to.
Oh, man. Nice targeting down from Scarlet there. 1 Immortal down. 2 Immortals down.
Only
Such
one
foresight.
left.
Well done.
These sentries are just getting popped. And GG.
GG.
Great. We're going to a best of 1.
Yep.
We said destructible rocks weren't important. Damn.
So for the people in the chat, if you could please play nice, that would be very appreciated. See a bit of...
Hey, his guitar's there.
No. Guitars
No.
had to... couldn't watch for some reason. Anyway.
Probably because we can only do source. So.
Yeah. Yeah, one of our friends is probably the biggest Scarlet fan in the world. So he...
Hey, he's right there. It's 3-3.
Oh, okay. Only Inferno.
Only
Pools.
Inferno left. That statement just says it all, doesn't it? Yeah.
I totally hate that map, but
As many
Free.
human do.
You know, I was wondering, like, what's the last map? What is the last map? I was waiting for one of them to say it, and I was like, oh yeah, this map. This one.
I'm going to invite myself.
Very kind of you.
Oh, I don't want to play Scarlet. Don't want to make her look bad. I mean,
Well, you know. You don't want to see Scarlet lose, and I understand that, you know. And I will decline playing Scarlet for the same reason. You know? It's just feeling very, very altruistic. Scarlet, of course, going to take a minute.
Yep, just wants a quick break. Very
It
high
is
stress
Big
series.
game coming up here. Best of 1, as we had previously predicted. It all comes down to this. A best of 1 on Inferno Pools.
Yep.
To decide who will get 25 Canadian dollars and who will get 75 of them instead.
I mean, the difference is just massive. I mean, the 75 Canadian dollars, it's just so much more colorful. If you get 25, like, you're going to get a green bill, a blue bill. But if you do 75, you're going to get both of those and a red one. Best thing about Canadian money.
oh yeah, our money's color coded and it's plastic.
Unfortunately,
That's
I don't
actually like
think
the
PayPal-
only
You have
the only
plastic
good
money.
thing. Yeah. If it melts
Yeah.
in your car, you can get a new one from the bank. It's great.
My God.
No more putting it through the washing machine and be like, God damn it!
Yeah, I don't trust plastic money. Sorry.
No problem.
I will never use Canadian dollars because
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Plastic, very worthless.
She says go. Yeah. Our plastic money. It's also like see-through in some parts.
Yeah, in America, our children play with plastic money. That's how we do it.
Whoa, no way.
If they brought that over here, they could be bajillionaires.
Yeah. If you just make your Monopoly money plastic, done. You know.
Oh, Ektar's got a great comment in the chat. Our money is not actually sized differently based on denominations like it is in Australia.
And China.
Yes, and China.
And I think Cambodia as well. I do have some Cambodian reals somewhere
Oh, okay.
on my floor.
There's probably quite a few different places. It's an interesting subject. I personally prefer all the money to be the same size.
Me too.
Color coding, I think, is a nice touch. I have to agree with that. You know, props for Canada for color coding the money.
Scarlet. Never played Inferno Pools. I don't think I ever have either.
I have.
I
It
auto-vetoed it.
I don't like it.
But anyway, in the top right of the map, in the pink, I don't have any good adjectives. It is Scarlet.
It's the water pink, obviously.
Okay, yeah, water pink. And
And in the top left, we have, in the most vetoable blue ever imaginable, PiLiPiLi.
there we go. So,
Very vetoable blue. I veto this blue regularly, actually. Scarlet's so friendly.
She got a little too friendly with parting last time.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, they're gonna hook up in I think DreamHack France.
Yeah.
Who
And
wouldn't
it-
want to hook up with parting? Let's be honest.
It resulted in some interesting fan fiction.
Yes,
Yeah.
written by our good friend Set Guitars to Kill.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
you
your,
should read it. Did you read
Oh,
it?
I read it.
Oh, good.
That was if it's on Reddit, I probably read it.
We'll link you afterwards anyway.
Yeah, all right. I might need a second read through. But yeah, I was very very interested, you know, that happened. I found it very funny. Apparently, if Set Guitars to Kill, did he do the or she do the other fanfic with Seppi and Scarlet?
I'm not sure about that one.
Well, maybe.
We'll find
I
out
don't
for
know.
you.
Good, very important. Thank you. Get right on it. All right.
Hey, Guitars, did you do that?
But yeah, it was quite hilarious. Quite hilarious. Someone said Suppy blocked him after that, which I thought was quite interesting.
Can't handle it.
X Aria. So we have multiple fanfic writing content creators out there. Thank you for contributing to the scene, adding that content in. It is not appreciated by Suppy, but it is appreciated by many of us, so keep it coming.
Well, I mean, esports fan fiction is the best fan fiction, right?
Yeah, well, obviously.
I mean, there's so much drama, so many stories.
I especially like the ending when there was an immortal. Whereas I'm not gonna
Yeah, we'll
quote it.
We'll let
but
you all,
yeah,
let you all read
read
the
it.
story.
It's amazing.
Yeah. We'll all sort of absorb it, off the camera, just for safety.
Yeah, I was thinking of trying
There are
to.
children, about that don't whose parents are not down with telling them about certain facts of life at an early age. Gotta respect that. Respect the individual parenting decisions in the same way that these Zerglings must respect this stalker that will chase them out of the base.
Getting that pylon, nice touch though, because like she pointed out, this ramp is massive. Like it's a huge ramp, and just denying that wall for as long as possible is going to be really helpful for her.
I don't think can she break through this? Ooh, she's got 3 Zerglings on this.
She could. Yep.
Gonna break through. Oh my
That
god,
was
the
so
last
close.
second gateway. All right, but it looks like the natural is how do I say this? Going to be coming to dead
Yep.
relatively soon here. PiLiPiLi, of course, following this up with a 17 gate attack, quite strong.
That poor zealot.
And this
But yeah,
wall,
from here, I think it's this is kind of a nice little moment to realize a bit of the potential of the mod here. Scarlet is gaining so much, and maybe this gets held off, right? Maybe the force fields come down. There we go. Zerglings get chased out. Scarlet is in a massive advantage right now.
And her income is so better.
She doesn't have all that many workers. She, in fact, has less workers than the Protoss player, and yet has more income because she's taken the risk of requiring an additional base. So very nice to see.
Yeah, I think it ends up... I can't remember if the math is the same for DH9 versus the 10 that the article was originally written for, but when it was 10, you ended up getting something like 20% extra mineral mining just from taking that base and going 8 at each instead of 16 at one. So it's pretty substantial.
Yep. Yeah, well, I think it's going to be relatively similar just because it's 9. It's 9 everywhere. I'm pretty sure Zero Muse will destroy me if I misquote, but I think, here we go, that the only difference is that there are 9 returned instead of 10. I don't think there are actually any other differences than that. Although we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll find out later. I'm sure he'll tell
looking
us.
for these nice little flanking systems happening over here. Hugging the edge of the wall is PiLiPiLi, looking to acquire that additional base as the clock is ticking. Halfway done, the mining out process is PiLiPiLi, and not too much room to be building any more workers at that base.
And Scarlett's just doing some crazy positioning with these Zerglings. She's going to be able to get in.
Some time, picking off some free units over here. Very nice. Gotta love the free sentry. Dead sentry is a good sentry, as we all know.
But is she going to have enough to hold off this push? With roaches in production, she should be able to do it.
She also has quite a few already.
Roaches on the map. Look at that. Whew. This is going to be fine.
Oh, yeah.
She got 9 roaches out.
Macro at its finest. We're going to see the hammer fall in just a little bit here. The fact that PiLiPiLi has not been able to secure this extra base.
This best of one might end quite soon.
Yes. The death of PiLiPiLi is completely reliant on the force fields,
really?
and here we go. We got some pretty good force fields to start off, but a little bit of hole there. We'll see what's going on. One sentry is about to
close.
Die. 5 in any case. Nice force field so far. Hasn't lost any units. Let's see if they can keep up. We have
roaches coming from behind. There's very few force fields left on these sentries now.
It's gonna be very stingy with these force fields here. Nice focusing down by Scarlet over there.
Now she's on top of those sentries.
This is a scary moment as those sentries fall down. So do the hopes of PiLiPiLi, and that's GG.
GG is called.
3.
So Scarlet takes it. Revenge has been gotten.
Revenge has been gotten. Yes, this was the legendary grudge match for PiLi taking that WCS spot from Scarlet.
That's right. Had only the economy been changed, Scarlet would have won.
You're right.
But, you know, it's too little too late sometimes. But not too late for Scarlet to acquire a more colorful prize pool.
Oh, so funny.
Thank you. I like to make jokes that are exactly so funny.
Okay, well, we're going to get into an interview, but first, the chat wants the fan fiction.
It's really great.
Oh, yeah, totally link that up.
Let's see. Got to find the link.
Is it really faster that way? Oh, I guess.
Oh, wait, no.
That.
There we go. Here it is. Oh.
Guitars got it.
You're so quick, man. Anyway, thanks for taking care of that.
Everybody read it. It's amazing.
All right, so yeah, let's get into the next interview, or the second interview. I might have to rejuggle all of these pictures. I think it depends on what order they join. I might be wrong
really?
though.
We still don't have Jack Attack's video.
No, we do not. Let's try to get that in there.
I just resetted it.
Oh, there we go.
To bring it back.
It was something to do with when everybody left, we lost yours, but it didn't matter because we were in game. You're back in now.
Whoa.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, Scarlet.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Thank you.
You have two of them.
There's two Scarlets? No, there's definitely only one
No,
Scarlet.
there's two videos that he has up on the XSplit.
Okay.
So many things to do. Hey, Peely.
Do you hear me, right? Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay.
Sound great, man.
Oh, that's Jack again.
We can just have 3 Jack Attacks.
That's true.
Whatever, you know, it'll be really aggressive.
Okay, for some reason you are the only picture we can get. So we're going to have to do a radio interview here.
Sure.
All right, so... And now Jack's gone. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So what do you guys think of the games?
Well, my opinion didn't really change. The Zerk is like really favored for that, which I think is good because in Heart of a Swarm right now, Zerk I think is a little bit weaker than it should be. So it does give Zerk an edge with this new economy because it's like this game on Iron Fortress and the last game Inferno Pools, that was just like pretty bad because like on Iron Fortress, she opened like 9 pool with 10 pool gas, and I opened gate to expand, and I got first scout. In Heart of the Swarm, Zerk would like never win. But then with this economy, because she got like a faster second base, so even though I had the healthier probe count, she had a faster like mining off of like 8 drones on 2 bases. So she able to like get a lot of roaches. So that was sort of bad. And then, well, I think maps, like, if you change the economy, change the maps, because most maps are not good. Like, Inferno Pools, like, 15 hatch into Ling all in, and I opened, like, pretty safe, but I couldn't wall off on time. I guess I have to go Forge. But going Forge is not very good, as the game 6 showed, because if you don't can rush, the circle plus 14 points pretty bad. And then, like, can rush seems really good on this because you force Zerg to stay on 1 base while you can take 2. So the oldest like 1 base roach with the Nidus, they're not really gonna work because Prada's gonna have like way too big of an economy. So I think can rush is gonna be stronger or more popular, I guess, with that economy. Because if you get Zerg 3 bases and you're into, you cannot do gate fit pressure because Zerg gets ridiculous amount of Zerlings where they don't supposed to have that much. So you have to take an extremely fast third, or you're supposed to like can rush, or like somehow make Zerg into bases, which I'm not really sure how.
All right, yeah.
So, I like how it really opens up a lot of options for Zerg to be aggressive early game because, like, some of those builds, the build I did in the last game at Iron Fortress, as he said, my economy would have been so much worse in the normal economy, and it's just such a big gamble normally, but like that I can pressure and then still I don't have to win the game right there. Which other races can do right now, but a lot of Zerg attacks, you need to just win the game or you're really far behind. Whereas with other races, if you do a pressure build and you do a bit of damage, it's okay. So I really like how it opens up that. But other than that, I don't think it changed too much in the games. Like one of the games on Cactus, I tried to take 5 base and go to upgrade Zerglings, but he ended up doing a really fast all-in, which kind of countered that.
Yeah, but I think the game on Vine Research Station was sort of like, because I opened the build I usually do for the Swarm, and usually by the time I do my Blink push out, Zerg has like not as much as in that game. And also there was like 5 bases for Zerg, so I think it does help Zerg a lot. Maybe I should expand faster because the game on Cactus Valley, I expanded like off of like 1 gate for him or something. Like 3rd base, 1 gate.
Yeah, if you let Zerg get them in check bases without pressuring, then it definitely is better for Zerg, but Like when I was playing Parting, what he would do is he would open up Oracle and then go into the 3-base Blink, because it's so much harder to expand taking your 4th and 5th against an Oracle. And also you have to make spores everywhere, so it just helps slow down the Zerg more so than in the normal economy.
And without a huge investment either.
Yeah, and then he followed up with a really quick Blink attack, and he would just contain me and stop and like kill the 4th. So it was even bases, and then it's still pretty good for Protoss in that case.
It's interesting that like through this show match, we found a couple of times where by changing the economy in this way, we're improving or rather like increasing the probability that players will be aggressive because it's a little bit less punishing, which is something I don't think gets talked about all that much, and it's definitely not something that I really considered ahead of time. So the fact that Blizzard's design philosophy going forward is to try to encourage aggression, definitely bringing up the idea that this economy model helps to encourage aggression as well as deal with the turtle play, I think is an important point to take away from this.
I like if they can like increase the effectiveness of pressure builds and like reduce the effectiveness of just all-ins, which in Legacy of the Void they are nerfing Warp Gate, so it hugely nerfs Protoss all-ins, and if it's something like this, it can allow them to do maybe a pressure build and then back off.
Yeah, I think too, if like with that kind of a change, you give more opportunities for players to demonstrate their skill, and I think that by doing that, the better player is going to come out on top more often, and then we get more consistently performing players. And it's also, I think, a little bit more fair to the professional gamers that throughout the course of the game, they get many opportunities to demonstrate that they're the better player.
And Life will never lose a tournament again.
Oh, hey, he's getting 40% damage cracklings. He's still never going to lose again.
That's true. Oh, yeah. So, pretty interesting games overall. I like, sort of like what you were saying, Scarlett, that it sort of takes an all-in and changes it to that pressure. So it's less, obviously less all-in and just more of an interesting aspect of the game instead of like, if this doesn't kill them, I'm screwed. You know, sort of removes that aspect or takes away from it.
Mm-hmm. You could also see it on the Echo game, where he committed a ton of resources and he just killed my 3rd. Like, he lost so much, and he barely killed any of my units. He lost a lot of zealots, and all he did was kill the hatchery, really. And Heart of the Swarm, the Protoss would have had a lot less economy because of that. I could have just rebuilt my 3rd and have all my drones on my main 2 bases, and it would have been fine. But in that case, it kind of evened out, even though he lost a lot of units for that. Because killing a base means I can't spread out my workers. And it's a lot better for him, I think.
Yeah, I think it's more meaningful to kill bases in this economy. Maybe to deny expansions than to contain, but also to just commit a lot of resources to killing a base, which again encourages more aggression because you can sacrifice more units to deal damage.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks to both of you for coming out. It was some really great games, and thanks for everyone who came out to watch it. Had a lot of fun putting this show on for you.
And thanks to Jack Attack for those great color references.
Yeah,
Octagon blue.
I look forward to future color adjective battles with you as well. I think it will be quite fun.
All right. So, yep. Thanks to everyone, and we'll see you all next time. Oh, and
See you, everyone.
I guess make sure to follow us and all that stuff.
And Jack Attack.
And Jack Attack.
And PiLiPiLi and Scarlet.
And PiLiPiLi and Scarlet. And I think, PiLi, you said you were going to be streaming after this?
Shit out of these people. Don't worry about me. Follow them.
And yeah, PiLi, you said you were streaming after this, right?
Probably not.
Okay.
Well, give them a follow on Twitch and Twitter anyway. All right. So, yep, thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah,
have a good
thanks,
night.
Everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.